Have you ever watched a Hollywood power couple and wondered what really happens behind the glossy magazine covers? The recent swirl of controversies around Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds might shock even the most jaded fans. On the surface, they've always seemed like the reigning king and queen of wholesome, playful banter. But beneath the polished appearances lies a series of bizarre scandals, emotional entanglements, and carefully orchestrated PR maneuvers that threaten to tear down everything they've built. From awkward co-star grabs to questionable muffin kits to alleged emotional affairs, the story unfolding around these two feels more twisted by the day. Let's peel back the pristine curtain and see what's really going on. It all started with a clip that sparked equal parts curiosity and discomfort. Blake Lively, chatting casually during the director's commentary for A Simple Favor, joked quite explicitly about grabbing co-star Henry Golding's private region. At first, it sounded like an odd sense of humor, but as the footage circulated online, viewers began replaying that moment, catching every anxious twitch on Henry's face. He didn't exactly look delighted as Blake recounted how she basically asked, "Hey, nice to meet you. Can I grab your..." Well, you get the idea. If this were reversed, if a male actor laughed about testing the waters on a female co-star, there'd be universal uproar. Yet for Blake, it seemed to pass with a shrug and a forced laugh. The double standard was impossible to ignore, but that wasn't the only shocker. Around the same time that people were whispering about these awkward on-set interactions, folks also remembered Blake's strange themed baking projects. Back in 2015, she released expensive blueberry muffin kits that were supposed to celebrate Black history. Only it came off more like a romanticized portrayal of the slavery-era South. Nothing says, "I'm celebrating your history," like a $168 muffin kit with pastel fonts and a glossy veneer. And if that wasn't enough, there was also the infamous boob cake she baked for her baby's first birthday. Yes, a one-year-old who couldn't even request such a bizarre design ended up with a boob-shaped dessert. On its own, maybe it was an odd sense of humor, but put together with everything else, it started to paint a picture of someone who enjoys attention in ways that might not always fit the America's sweetheart persona she's tried to cultivate. And what happened next left everyone speechless. Rumors began swirling about an unexpected emotional entanglement with her co-star in the upcoming film It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni. Whispers of intense laughter on set, flirty vibes, and late-night penthouse visits bubbled to the surface. Typically, Hollywood set gossip is nothing new, but this time, the claims seemed to have legs, especially when allegations surfaced that Blake tried to twist a simple, possibly offhand comment from Justin into something far more scandalous. According to various insiders, she invited him to her luxurious penthouse, introduced him to her baby, and engaged in personal, borderline intimate conversations. But later, she allegedly flipped the script, hinting at being made uncomfortable by certain remarks Justin made about her self-tanner. Suddenly, words like harassment began floating around. To outside observers, it looked more like a personal falling out or an emotional fiasco than a genuine safety concern. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. As soon as Ryan Reynolds caught wind of these rumors, he apparently reacted in the most over-the-top way imaginable. Close sources whispered about him, threatening to burn down everything: his own house, her career, the entire brand, if the accusations didn't disappear. The carefully curated family man facade, the comedic Deadpool with the heart of gold, cracked at the edges. Publicly, we still saw that playful grin in paparazzi shots, but behind closed doors, alleged meltdown after meltdown surfaced. Ryan wasn't just upset at the possibility of a betrayal. He was furious at the threat it posed to their multi-million-dollar family image. And so, as the story goes, he rallied his legal team to push for gag orders, hush money, anything to keep the rumors at bay. In the eyes of many, it stopped looking like a genuine effort to protect loved ones and started to resemble a Cold War over media narratives. One person who jumped into the fray and didn't hold back was Candace Owens. She labeled Ryan a manipulative narcissist and Blake a phony victim. With fiery language, she called out the hypocrisy of Blake's claims. If she was truly traumatized by Justin Baldoni, why invite him to her penthouse and let him hold her baby? Owens took the conversation a step further, claiming that Blake was giving real survivors a bad name by wielding allegations only when it served her PR strategy. While some people tuned out, rolling their eyes at the sheer drama, others couldn't deny that the receipts looked damning. Footage of Blake grabbing Henry Golding was real. The baking fiascos were documented on her own social media, and the rumored emotional affair was supported by multiple behind-the-scenes leaks. Meanwhile, Ryan's alleged meltdown and attempts to manipulate mainstream newspapers into vilifying Baldoni didn't exactly paint him as a noble defender of truth. But was there more to this messy marriage than meets the eye? Some observers started floating a new, even more startling theory. What if Blake was essentially Ryan's beard, an old Hollywood tactic of staging a heterosexual romance to maintain an actor's heartthrob brand? Internet sleuths pointed to Ryan's wildly different energy with Hugh Jackman, a longtime friend he constantly gushes over in interviews. In comparison, Ryan's on-camera interactions with Blake could feel orchestrated or forced. On the red carpet, they'd toss jokes and remarks that felt more like a show than genuine affection. Indeed, Ryan has raved passionately about how much Hugh Jackman means to him, calling him the best partner, praising his emotional support, terms that never quite surface when he's discussing Blake. Whether or not you buy the beard theory, the rumor took on a life of its own, especially when the Reynolds Lively brand became a swirling tornado of rumors, lawsuits, and controlling demands. The cracks in their carefully managed image only widened. While Blake's lawyers filed documents claiming she was too distraught to even venture outside, she was simultaneously photographed on a happy place trip to a Connecticut bakery, beaming for the camera. One moment, she's an alleged emotional wreck who can't get out of bed. The next, she's stepping behind the pastry counter in full glam, posing for fans and posting cheery social media updates. This stark contradiction raised questions about the sincerity of her reported trauma. Did she truly fear the world outside her door? Or was this part of a strategic performance designed to shape public perception? Add in the possibility that Ryan was orchestrating these appearances to keep up their brand's unstoppable momentum. And you have the recipe for a meltdown that no amount of muffin mix could sweeten. But that wasn't the whole story. As with any high-profile Hollywood couple, the PR chessboard often features multiple players. Rumor has it that Ryan's team frantically pitched a damaging piece to the New York Times, painting Justin Baldoni as the real culprit in the behind-the-scenes drama. The objective? Release it so quickly that Baldoni wouldn't have time to respond with his own evidence. This is how reputations get destroyed in an instant, and how powerful players keep the upper hand. But the plan allegedly backfired when Justin fought back with receipts of his own and began hinting that maybe the real problem had nothing to do with an innocent comment about self-tanner. If anything, this fiasco strengthened speculation that the meltdown was more about protecting the perfect family brand than about seeking actual justice or truth. The deeper one looks, the more it appears that the entire Lively Reynolds empire was built on illusions. The couple's playful Twitter jabs and coordinated red carpet walks always felt a bit too perfect, as though every quip had been carefully rehearsed. Their jokes and photo ops were catnip for tabloid columns and social media fans who thrived on the notion that a glitzy Hollywood pair could be both glamorous and down-to-earth. But as soon as adversity arrived, the facade showed its cracks. Blake turned to lawsuits, accusations, and perhaps even smear campaigns, while Ryan's reported response was to threaten lawsuits of his own and push hush orders on anyone daring to speak out. Instead of working through problems privately, they took their issues to court in the press. Instead of demonstrating unity, they hurled blame at each other's co-stars and colleagues. By the time Candace Owens publicly labeled Blake as Amber Heard 2.0, many were rolling their eyes, yet they understood the underlying point. Sometimes the actor or actress calling foul is just as complicit in toxic behavior. Blake's pattern, accusing men of overstepping boundaries while laughing about how she's the one literally grabbing others without consent, didn't help her cause, nor did the repeated stories of her belittling male co-stars who dared to challenge her or question her intentions. Meanwhile, Ryan's supposed controlling streak and rumored meltdown pointed to a marriage possibly fueled less by partnership and more by marketing. The couple's own admissions, commentary track slip-ups, and forced brand deals only amplified the sense that everything was staged. Yet the strangest part is how each new reveal contradicts the last. One day, the media coverage centers on Blake's trauma and her tearful claim that she can't step outside. The next, she's out grinning at a pastry shop, wearing an apron, greeting the public like a carefree TV host. One day, Ryan is the love of Blake's life. The next, we learn about alleged emotional attachments to Justin Baldoni, penthouse visits, and so-called "we were just talking about self-tanner" confusion. Each time a new angle emerges, it only underscores how many secrets these two have woven into their daily lives. The collision of their secrets, half-truths, and contradictory behaviors is becoming too big to hide under a layer of comedic banter. That brings us to the ultimate question. Are we simply watching a typical Hollywood implosion? Or is this something even more staged and cynical? In some ways, it might be both. The rumor about Blake being a beard could be an exaggeration, or it could be the only explanation that makes sense of Ryan's deeper emotional connection to Hugh Jackman. The meltdown might just be a husband scorned by rumors of an affair, or it could be a strategic takedown orchestrated by a man protecting a multi-million-dollar image. Blake might genuinely feel threatened by Justin Baldoni's comments, or she could be weaponizing an offhand remark to salvage her own precarious position. Either way, these are not the heartfelt behaviors of two parents just trying to do what's best for their children. It looks more like a legal and PR battlefield designed to keep each side's brand intact. When you step back from all the daily headlines, the boob cakes, the bizarre commentary tracks, the speculation about emotional affairs, and the curated family photos, you see a bigger narrative. The lively Reynolds brand was meticulously built over years to sell us a fantasy of the perfect celebrity union. Now, it's cracking under the weight of real human flaws. Perhaps the biggest lesson here is that no matter how charming or relatable a celebrity couple appears on social media, there can always be a hurricane of resentment, betrayal, and ambition swirling behind that glossy facade. In this tale, blame is shared. Blake's contradictions, Ryan's alleged controlling streak, the hush-hush lawsuits, and the press manipulation all indicate that the shining image was never as genuine as fans wanted to believe. So what should we take away from all this? Maybe it's a reminder that the red carpet smiles and playful social media jabs are often just part of a brand strategy. We, the public, get sold a neatly edited highlight reel, while the couple manages secrets that could fill tabloid after tabloid. Whether you side with Blake for feeling cornered, or sympathize with Ryan's rage at a potential betrayal, or simply believe that both are playing an elaborate game of chess, there's one undeniable truth. The happy-go-lucky love story has been replaced by a swirl of scandal, contradiction, and drama. And it's not exactly going away anytime soon. In the end, perhaps this entire saga is one massive cautionary tale. When Hollywood relationships become a business asset, real emotions and ethical behavior might be the first casualties. Blake might continue claiming she's a victim, while Ryan wields lawsuits and brand deals to maintain control. The controversies and skeletons they tried to bury keep resurfacing, and the public, once mesmerized by their witty banter, has started to look beyond the quick quips for substance. Will the pair ever recover that perfect image they spent so long curating? Or will the next bombshell revelation finally convince fans that the line between a staged act and genuine life was blurred from the very start? No matter how it plays out, one thing is for sure. This isn't just a story about a quick nut grab joke gone wrong or an impulsively baked boob cake. It's about how easily Hollywood can package and sell a fantasy that ultimately unravels under the bright lights of scandal. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds built a brand that felt invincible, but every awkward video clip, contradictory appearance, and emotional meltdown reveals that no amount of comedic tweets or curated couple photos can camouflage deep-rooted problems forever. Maybe the real tragedy here is not that two public figures are at war, it's that the illusion they sold us was always too perfect to last. And in Hollywood, perfection tends to be the biggest lie of all.